Luna here with the Artisan Tarot, and today I'm coming out to you with a video on, excuse me while I set my timer, the three main differences. Hold on, if you can see my hand here. Nope. There we go. The three main differences between a fairy and an elemental. So, hi, welcome. So first things first, let me put it to you like this. Not every elemental is a fairy, but not every fairy can have access to the elementals or the elements. So it sounds a little strange, but let me try to put it up like this. The main differences between the fairies and the elementals is, and the thing is they're kind of lumped into this broad term of fae or fairies. But the first example of this would be, for example, mermaids or the merfolk. They are actually known to be considered fairies too. But you're like, but Luna, wait a second, they don't have wings. Like y'all are quick to tell me. But wait a second. Exactly. That's where the elementals come in. So this is where the Fae realm and the Fae, the term FEA is a very broad term, because then there's the water spirits. Technically, the merfolk are fairy beings, according to various literary sources I have read over the years. And not just one, I'm talking like many, especially when working with fairies. So, but they are considered elementals. Another great example of this is dragons. And you're like, but Luna, dragons are not fairies. Well, hang on. There are actually some that are considered the dragon fae. They are a mix between fairy and dragon folk. So before we quick to say, well, Luna, hang on. That's why I say not every fae being has access to the elemental or elements, and not every elemental has access to being a fae, but some can crisscross. A second way to tell the difference between a fairy and an elemental is because also I'm sure some of you are like, but dragons only access fire. Do they really? Do you think they really only access fire? Come on, guys. Let's open our minds here. There are various types of dragons. Various. Fire is one of the elements, okay? Just saying. So, because I have another video plan where we're going to go further into these topics, and I need you guys to have an open mind. So, here's the thing, and this is also, to be fair, I thought similarly like y'all. So, and then my fae beings and my guides would lead me to materials and resources to kind of open my mind and expand a little bit. So then it'd be like, oh, so it's not like that. Yeah. So the second way to tell the difference between a fairy and an elemental is what exactly their duties are. So a lot of people don't know this, but I'm going to tell y'all the Fae have certain jobs. They're very strict too. Like they have rules, they have jobs, they have like things they got to do all the time, right? And they have powers and abilities, and the elementals do too, which can be a little confusing. So the way you can tell the difference between an elemental spirit and a fairy is what exactly is their job detail in the fairy world or Avalon world of the Fae. And that's really easy. Because an elemental can act as a guardian, but not all elementals are guardians. They can be, though. So a great example of this that you guys have seen in TV and film would be in Frozen 2. Frozen 2, Elsa has to go meet with all of the different spirits. They are elementals and they are guardians for Ahtohalland, right? So that's a great way to explain and sum up how elemental roles are different than traditional fairy roles. A traditional fairy role, in terms of what they do, is, let's say you have one fae being tending to one little leaf on a tree, or one fae being tending to one tree out of a whole grove. And that's where nymphs and trees and all that kind of are a little bit different, because some people assume that nymphs are just fae beings. I would say they're more like goddesses. So just so we're clear, so we understand the difference between goddess, fae, and elemental. Because yes, I will say nymphs can be confusing, because you're like, well, wait a second, aren't they a part of elemental earth magic? Technically, yes. But where they differ is their role. Are they centralized to the whole grove, or are they centralized to one tree, one leaf, one lake, one, kind of thing? Okay, that's, or for example, there are fairies that live in your house, if you have heard of them, like brownies, you know or like there's one legend about one that, like, when people used to have hearths in their houses for fireplaces, there was one that lived in the fireplace and he lived behind it in the oven. Okay, so I can't remember the name of that fairy right now. And also there are many different types of fairies. Okay, so that's also confusing, so I can understand how you guys would be confused. A third way to tell the difference between a regular fairy and an elemental is not just with their job, but let's say responsibility. What is their responsibility in the Fae realm tied to their job? Like I said, the elementals are more like guardians, but they also have other things to do. Like they have to test, whoever is coming at them in their world to see if they are ready to take on their role. Okay. In the fairy world, it's a little bit different. They still test you, but it's not usually a test of like your courage or your inner strength. It's a test of heart. And it also has to deal with accessing whatever it is that they're going to help you with. So there's that too. Because when you work with the Fae, you learn that, yeah, they're nature, but sometimes there are just magical ones too. And they're like, you think you're ready for this? Okay, like, can you pass this? And, if you don't, they don't like chastise you for it. They're just like, okay, so that didn't go so well. How about what can you do? And then they'll like kind of like work with what you can do and then say, okay, here's where, your problem is in the 3D world. And you're like, yeah. They're very, I have to say, the one thing about working with fairies is they really do help you with problem solving. I like to think of it as like whenever you have a problem, and I mean, in the beginning, everybody fails a test with the Fae, so like everybody does, but it's how you act within your heart space, how you accept that failure, that is going to really depend on how you work with them, who you work with, and also, if you don't even work with them at all, because sometimes some people just they can't handle the pressure, and the Fae are like, okay, it is not your time yet, like they'll be quick to let you know when it's not your time, and they're quick to act when it is. So working with the Fae is pretty much an all-encompassing kind of job, but it can be a bit, especially in the beginning, to beginners who like have no idea about the Fae realm and all of its politics and whatnot. It can be a little overwhelming, because you're like, well, wait a second, why does it have to work with this guy and not this guy? You get a little confused. And then they're like, well, because that's not my job. Like, and it's not like in a way where it's like it's above my pay grade. It's because they don't have that ability. That's not what they're assigned. So that's where people can get a little confused. So and that is why elementals and fairies are so different, but why they can be confused to be the same. So hang on just a second here, because I do currently have 3 courses. I have a mini course, 5 tools you'll need when working with Aphrodite. I have that down in the description box below. I have the link to my crown down in the description box below. I have my dream course. So I have that split into 2. So you'll pay for both at the same time, but I just have it split into two because it can be overwhelming. And the whole reason I actually did that course was so when you start working with the Fae, you have better foundations of working with them. And then I have the Fae course, the how to work with the Fae. So first things first, you'll want to kind of think about which course for you is better and which one isn't. And if you're not interested in growing your abilities, that's totally okay. I offer readings as well. I currently have 30% off on a fairy blessing card reading and a dragon fae reading. So down in the description box below, they're recorded videos too. So just join my waitlist. You'll get 30% off, and we'll schedule a time and all of that. And if you are not interested in that, I also have coaching sessions as an intuitive life coach. I have 3 sessions, like a 3-session package and a 6-session package, also 30% off if you sign up on my wait list. So other than that, I've got to head out, you guys. Got one more video to pop out here for the Fae. And I want you guys for today, and I want you guys to hold on. Sorry, I'm just double checking all of this is written down. So our next video is going to be the 3 cool ways that the Fae are tied to herbs. So if you love to work with herbs or plants or anything like that, make sure to follow me next week for that video. Other than that, I love y'all so very much. I can't wait to see y'all later. I will talk to you soon. And oh, there is a free downloadable PDF down in the description box below. Bye, guys.